In the days of our youth, we all embarked on a journey through biology class, gaining a rudimentary grasp of genetics. Today, I shall unravel a tale intertwined with the mysteries of genes. Whispers of a curse echo through this narrative. Nestled in the vast expanse of the Pacific Ocean, distanced 9,000 kilometers from the Americas, over 2,500 kilometers from Australia, and some 4,600 kilometers from the mainland of China, lies the enigmatic island of Nan Madol. It boasts a maritime temple constructed from 750 million tons of massive stones, its architects and the era of its inception shrouded in mystery. Some speculate it to be at least 12,000 years old, the handiwork of a vanished oceanic civilization. Others believe it to be a relic of the submerged continent of Mu, what we see being merely a fraction, with countless wonders lying beneath the sea. Estimations suggest that if the island were fully populated, it could accommodate around 2,000 inhabitants. If half were to engage in its construction, erecting the temple would span at least 1,600 years. Moreover, these megaliths possess a strong magnetic field, rendering compasses dysfunctional in their vicinity, a feat of magnetization that begs the question of its ancient origins. A local legend speaks of the temple originally housing 999 smaller sanctuaries, each a home to a goddess. Millennia ago, on nights when the moon was full, these goddesses would select passing vessels, desiring a valiant young man. Transforming into a beautiful maiden, a goddess would emerge from the temple, dwelling on the young man's ship, eventually vanishing with him over the horizon. Generations later, descendants of these men, driven by legend, would venture near the temple, awaiting a goddess to incarnate as a beautiful maiden and join them on their small boats. As all goddesses transformed into mortals, the temple lost its divine protection. Disorder befell the tides, storms arose, food sources dwindled, and water became contaminated. The temple sank beneath the sea, leaving only these giant stones behind. One might ponder if this tale is not dissimilar to those of Greek mythology. Hearing this tale, scientists were particularly intrigued by a crucial element of the myth, the women, perhaps a key to deciphering the legend. Indeed, on another island some 250 kilometers southwest, they uncovered clues. In 1996, the renowned neurologist Oliver Sacks ventured to the equally mysterious island of Pingelap. Legend has it that Pingelap was cursed, its inhabitants unable to venture out during the day. Essential activities such as fishing, foraging, laundry, and cooking were relegated to the night. Explorers visiting the island in the 19th century discovered that its residents were all colorblind, perceiving only shades of black, white, and gray. Their daytime seclusion stemmed from a lack of cone cells in their eyes, rendering them unable to see color or function in bright light. Upon Sacks' arrival, 30% of the population still exhibited total color blindness, a significantly high proportion. They ventured out to sea under the cloak of night, lured flying fish with torches, their eyesight uniquely adapted to spot the faintly glowing fish beneath the surface, which they then harvested with spears and nets. They informed Sacks that previous scientists warned of bacteria in the island's water, harmful to outsiders, thus offering him bananas and coconuts as hospitality. Yet Sacks noted their difficulty in discerning the ripeness of bananas, a task simplified by color for those not affected by the island's curse. This innate color blindness, when did it begin? Sacks unearthed a new lead to breaking the island's curse, tracing its origins further back in time, to the year 1273. In the year that saw Rudolf of Habsburg crowned as the King of Germany, a figure previously of modest nobility, fortune smiled upon him through his 6 daughters, akin to celestial beings. Rudolf arranged marriages for these daughters into the royal families of Europe, making them queens. Their progeny swiftly ascended to thrones, heralding a new era of kings. Subsequently, the emperors of the Holy Roman Empire bore the Habsburg name, as did the kings of Austria, Germany, Hungary, Bohemia, Spain, Italy, the Netherlands, Belgium, Yugoslavia, and even the Emperor of Mexico. This marked the rise of the Habsburg dynasty, a formidable force in European history. Rudolf once advised his daughters, "Let others wage war. You marry. What Mars offers to some, Venus bestows upon you." Alas, the Habsburg dynasty soon declined, a downfall tied to a purported curse. Scholars poring over portraits left by court painters identified a peculiar trait among the Habsburg monarchs, the Habsburg jaw, a condition known as mandibular prognathism, occurring in just 1% of the general population. This distinct jawline, however, became the emblem of medieval European royalty, famously dubbed the Habsburg jaw. The story takes a turn here, touching upon the familiar theme of genetic inheritance, yet unfolds in a captivating manner. A Spanish peasant, upon encountering King Charles V, knelt and earnestly advised, "Your Majesty, please close your mouth. The flies here are not to be savored." The authenticity of this tale remains uncertain, yet it serves as a humorous anecdote from over 700 years ago. Charles V, despite his pronounced jaw making it difficult to close his mouth, reinstated the majesty of his reign, ushering in the era of the Spanish Empire, upon which the sun never set. However, by the time of his great-grandson, Charles II, the curse's impact was not limited to mere aesthetics. Dubbed the Bewitched, Charles II could not walk at the age of 4 and only began to speak at 8. Only a few close advisors could comprehend his speech in his early teens, due to an abnormally swollen tongue that nearly filled his mouth, causing incessant drooling whenever he attempted to speak. His pronounced Habsburg jaw was such that he could barely chew, exacerbating his difficulties. By the age of 30, Charles II exhibited signs of premature aging, including a hunched back, osteoporosis, and hematuria. He married twice, with rumors suggesting his first wife fainted upon truly seeing him for the first time. Contemporary healers believed he was cursed, prescribing bizarre remedies, including a special bed containing a part of his father's body, claiming it was the only way he could sire a successor for the Habsburg lineage. Ultimately, he died at 38 without issue. The autopsy reported no blood in his body, a heart as small as a peppercorn, severely damaged lungs, a perforated intestine, and a brain filled with fluid, marking the end of the Habsburg dynasty. Europe plunged into war over the remnants of this cursed empire. It was said that the Habsburg curse stemmed from Rudolf's ancient edict that angered Venus, with his descendants adhering strictly to his directive, persisting in intermarriage within the family. Take, for example, Charles II. His mother was also his father's niece and his grandmother his aunt. Over centuries, the mortality rate among the Habsburg offspring soared to 80%, with many infants perishing before their first birthday. The royal lineage dwindled, and Charles II, miraculously surviving into adulthood, emerged as the sole heir to the Spanish throne under the Habsburg dynasty. Ultimately, the curse condemned him to be the terminator of the Habsburg bloodline. Returning to the island afflicted with universal colorblindness, Oliver, who visited the island, posited that the curse of colorblindness and the Habsburg curse stemmed from the same root, genetics, specifically the consequences of inbreeding. Oliver discovered from historical records that in 1775, a massive tsunami hit the island, sparing only the king and 20 other inhabitants. He speculated that these 21 individuals became the progenitors of the island's entire population over the next century, engaging in familial intermarriages that led to the loss of cone cells in their eyes, turning the island into a realm of color blindness. Archaeologists later validated Oliver's theory by analyzing the remains of the king, finding a recessive allele for total color blindness on his chromosomes. This recessive allele, when paired through close kinship, became dominant, resulting in total color blindness in the offspring. This cycle repeated, leading to a predominantly colorblind population within a few generations. This tale underscores the perils of inbreeding, a genetic curse that remains unbreakable. It prompts one to wonder if the divine powers of the gods of Mount Olympus also diminished due to inbreeding. Aware of the dire implications of this genetic curse, scientists, including Elon Musk, have advocated for the colonization of Mars, pitching it as a compelling venture to top-tier financiers. Yet, the question arises, why focus on Mars instead of prioritizing the preservation of Earth? This brings us to another concept proposed by scientists, the Doomsday Clock. In August 1945, scientists involved in the Manhattan Project clenched their fists in anxiety, uncertain of the consequences the imminent atomic bomb detonations would have on humanity. A week later, 2 atomic bombs devastated Hiroshima and Nagasaki, showcasing the destructive potential humanity had unleashed. 2 years following this cataclysm, scientists from the Manhattan Project introduced the Doomsday Clock in the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists, symbolizing the existential threats facing humanity. Scientists believe that human extinction is inevitable. If the entire history of humanity were compressed into a 24-hour day, then by 1947, we were merely 7 minutes away from extinction. Scientists annually adjust this metaphorical clock based on current events. The year 1991 marked our furthest distance from doomsday, with 17 minutes to spare, while in 2020 we came the closest to midnight, with only 100 seconds remaining. Potential causes for this doomsday include asteroid impacts, nuclear explosions, extreme climate changes, and biochemical crises, among others. The consensus among scientists is that humans, like any other species on Earth, have all their genetic eggs in one basket, the Earth. If this basket were to break, all the eggs would be destroyed. This doesn't imply the complete eradication of humans, but rather a reduction in population to a number incapable of sustaining normal species propagation, such as below 20,000 individuals. Even if this small group were to survive extreme conditions, inbreeding in a new world would eventually lead to our demise. Therefore, it's prudent to have our genetic eggs in multiple baskets. Currently, Mars presents the best alternative. Should a cataclysm strike Martian humans, Earth could provide reinforcements, and vice versa. The first step in this scientific vision is to create a human backup on Mars, and the next is to reach Proxima Centauri, 4.2 light-years away, where a planet similar to Earth exists. Launched in 1977, Voyager 1 was directed towards Proxima Centauri. It has since traveled 22 billion kilometers, exiting the solar system, and provided humanity with a photograph of Earth from the edge of the solar system, a pale blue dot. However, this distance represents just 1/1800th of the journey to Proxima Centauri. By 2036, Voyager 1's batteries will deplete, severing our connection forever. It might take Voyager 1 about 77,000 years to reach Proxima Centauri, hopefully finding humanity waiting there. Yet it's also possible that humans may never see it again. Humanity is a youthful species, having suddenly emerged around the world over 100,000 years ago, settling down to form agricultural societies over 10,000 years ago, and experiencing a scientific revolution just a century past. The question now is, can we find a new home before the metaphorical midnight strikes? Scientists are pessimistic, pointing to the Neanderthals, our closest relatives, who were driven to extinction partly due to the effects of inbreeding after their population fell below a critical threshold during their own doomsday. While modern humans have so far avoided the pitfalls of inbreeding, the risk of having all our genetic eggs in one basket remains. How long can we evade this danger? The ancient temples and goddess legends of Nan Madol remind us of a previous civilization that faced the doomsday clock, its population dwindling to numbers too low for sustainable reproduction. As the world turned into an oceanic wasteland, survivors found that genes became as crucial for survival as food and water, specifically, genes from outside their immediate community. Families merged into clans, and clans, lacking external partners, turned to inbreeding. Generations passed, and the once great civilization faded, with human genetics gradually degrading until it seemed humanity would vanish from the earth. After many generations, with the memories and knowledge of their ancestors long forgotten, humanity lived almost as animals in the wasteland. It was then that the previous wave of human space backups returned to Earth, bringing with them advanced technology and their most precious resource, genes. These visitors, transforming from goddesses to beautiful maidens, sought out the males of Earth to save human genetics. Earth's people came to regard them as divine beings from Olympus, goddesses from oceanic temples, or siblings from Huashu, credited with teaching the necessary technologies to recreate civilization. In various mythologies, regardless of where the gods resided or what technologies they imparted, they shared one trait: they came from distant stars. Perhaps when our technology evolves to the point of enabling interstellar colonization, we might encounter another group of extraterrestrial humans who look just like us. They could share the entire story of the cosmic backup and remind us to be ready, with our genetic heritage in tow, to traverse the stars and assist a sibling civilization in need. Because as long as we exist in the flesh, we cannot escape the curse born of our genes.